I want to welcome Ryan onto the stage. Ryan, hope you're doing well. How are you?
I'm good. People are forgetting that Trump saved those 9 AI girls, though. So how about that?
A lot of
It's
winning.
sad with the school. It kind of overshadows the fact that they also hit a hospital the same day. Normally, just bombing a hospital would be or ought to be front page news, but because they hit the girls' school too, it's like too much to handle. And worst of all is when they asked about it, Trump said, "We think Iran did that." And then Hegseth said, "It's being investigated." He was a little smarter. He's like, "Oh, we're investigating." It's on film. It was a Tomahawk Block 4. It was a triple tap, and they incinerated him, smoke coming out of the ceiling. Scott Ritter's broken it all down before. You could have said, we had outdated maps, we had AI targeting, whatever, some kind of accident. But they didn't even own up on it. They blamed the victims. They said, "Oh, that's Iran did it to itself." It reminds me of the Israelis saying when clearly a JDAM hit the courtyard of a hospital, they said, "Oh, that was a misfire from Hamas that went backwards and landed on them." No, it wasn't. And it just didn't matter. They ended up bombing all the hospitals anyway. But, we're not Israel, but we meaning the United States, we're now in that group with them that just targets children and won't own up to it. Blames the enemy for it. There's a preemptive attack during negotiations and you hit a girls' school. I don't think that was on purpose because there's just nothing to gain by it. I think it was a massive screw up. But no one's being held accountable for this incompetence or the hospital they hit. But then again, I think they're indifferent to it. They let AI just size up, building dimensions and then off they go. And they're getting a lot of false positives, but their attitude is, so what? What are they going to do about it? Might makes right. Machiavelli. That's their moral compass is like the Old Testament God. Just kill them all because we can. And in America, that wasn't what they used to be. Right? It was Eisenhower that came in and put an end to the Suez Crisis. There used to be, America's always tortured people, but they had to do it in secret. They had to do rendition programs because the public wouldn't stomach it. ISIS shot people, but there was huge pushback against it. But the Israelis, they celebrate it. Torture, murder, rape prisoners, they don't care. The more you do it, the more popular you are. So at least culturally, a good chunk of the United States is against this type of behavior. But no one's going to be held accountable. And they're changing the rules of engagement. They're changing. Hegseth has just cleared out anybody with a conscience. And now we're murdering little kids. And it's more scary than when the Israelis do it because the U.S. has far more power. And we cannot allow our government to behave like Lincoln. But that's Trump's model. He wants to be Abe Lincoln. Heroicize him. Took his tariff idea from him too. That's what the Union Army used to do. Wall people up in churches and burn them. Children, everything. They raped. Almost 100,000 Union soldiers got syphilis spread through because they raped so many people in the areas they were taking. And it's all justified by the Smith of ending slavery, which they didn't do and practice themselves. And it's the same kind of crap, like, oh, we're liberating protesters and the 40,000 protesters is bull. Or women's liberation or any of this nonsense. It's some do-gooder facade to point to. It's totally disingenuous, just like the negotiations themselves. And the mask came off after saying, whoa, this is to help the protesters, this is for women's rights. And then what's he put on Truth Social? Do it or I will blow you back into the Stone Age. This will be a civilization ending maneuver. Like, that's what you really think. You're just Durka sand people. That's what he really thinks, and he wants to blow you back into the Stone Age. He didn't care about women or anybody else. You're not them. There was no nuclear threat. There was an Epstein threat. Israel wanted war with Iran, and they got it. And the U.S. is obeying, and the U.S. is acting like the Israelis, targeting, murdering civilians, and blaming it on the enemy. They're going to do it again. They're all geared up. They send in another carrier. That's not just for pageantry. And they've been gathering ammo from all over the world. Why? Because they're going to use it. It's not going to work. But thousands of more people are going to die in this pointless war, and they're going to wreck the global economy for probably a decade or more. Because of political Zionism, because these Jewish supremacists that are ethnically cleansing southern Lebanon and just straight up bulldozing down houses, and after they loot everything in them, and stealing territory for God's chosen lunatics. Because they promised it to themselves thousands of years ago in the book with talking donkeys and people living inside a whale and things that absolutely are not made up. These are the kind of lunatics we're dealing with. You can't negotiate with these people. And they're completely not sincere. They're insincere when they say, oh, we did. It's not about uranium. One time they even admitted they'd get rid of your ballistic missiles, which Iran laughed at. They want regime change. They want to put a cuck in power, as they have in Lebanon and just about every Arab state besides Yemen. That's what they want. Obedience for greater Israel. And they are willing to rape little kids and engage in well-organized, and I mean billionaires, organizing international child human trafficking. That's what Epstein was. And to a degree, stuff like OnlyFans is like the digital honey trap, because they record all of that stuff. And they've got these people by the shorties. The short hairs, if you know what I'm saying. And then you got these closet homosexuals like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz. They will do whatever Israel wants. And they're advocating just mass murder. I see more outrage towards like Nazism, which, you know, an ideology that died in the 40s, than I do the modern murder, killing, and genocide. It's perfectly, you can get elected, you could be a senator or congressman and advocate the genocide of Palestine and be fine. But you can't even be a student at a college campus saying not to kill people, or they'll label you a terrorist and kick you out of school. That's where we're at. And it all started because we don't have a free press. They have a monopoly on the media, and that all started with Lincoln too, closing down all the newspapers. He married corporation and state. He married the state with the press, and he created the income tax. And they put his fucking face on a mountain. Call him a liberator. I can't let this continue. It's amazing as people say Trump's the worst president ever. I'm like, Clinton killed millions. So did Bush. Obama, at least hundreds of thousands. He invaded Libya and Syria. The sanctions on Iraq were killing 100,000 people a year under Bill Clinton. And he burned his own people at Waco. Fuck that guy. And he was an Epstein pervert. Fuck him. Bush Jr. invaded Afghanistan and Iraq over nothing. About 800,000 people, so maybe a million there. Trillions of dollars spent on Israel's war. There were worse presidents. Trump's killed about 3,000 in Iran and however many in Yemen. He's not on their level yet, but give him time. Because these people are crazy enough to use a nuclear bomb. How do you end it? it's a weird phenomenon where people seem they're more black-pilled because they're more aware. They weren't as black-pilled only because of ignorance. But we actually have gained ground. It just seems like it's worse, but it was way worse in the past than it is now. They were killing far more people and they were getting away with it carte blanche. Now there's some consequence, at least in the court of public opinion, for these actions. So as disgusting as it is that they blew up a school full of girls, at least people are able to talk about it and condemn it. You couldn't do that before. They bombed schools in Iraq in that war. Nothing. Israel has been doing that to Gaza way before October 7th. Nothing. As we gain more free speech, they'll lose power, but it's going to look like the worst times we've ever had. But in reality, they're actually getting better. It's just that before you might not have been aware of how bad things were. So I just want to point that out. Like, we are on the offense now against Empire, slowly starting to win. And that's what, and it's like as you lift the rock and all the roaches run out from underneath it, like you're seeing the disgusting nature of things, but that's how they always were. It's just you lifted up the cover now, and now you get to look at these demons in the face. And I think one of the pivotal things that people could do, especially if they live in Florida 6th District, is getting Dan Bilzerian to primary Randy Fine. Because if he wins, more people will run. They don't, because they just think, oh, it's impossible. But it's not. You can beat these demons. Fat Jew Randy Fine, he doesn't do anything for Florida. He's an Israeli firster. He's got an Israeli flag in his office. Placed higher than the U.S. flag, by the way. They openly work for a foreign state, in a foreign state that colonizes its neighbors. They'll murder babies. They're not being prosecuted for this. See any Israeli soldiers going to jail for their war crimes in Gaza? No, because it's state-ordained racism. That Star of David flag ought to be looked at like somebody just raised up a swastika. That's the attitude people ought to have. And the backlash should be just as severe. I hand it back to you, Sully.
Great points, Ryan. Ryan, what do you think is happening now? Because a lot of people who thought that the US were going to go back in now are changing their mind. They think they might not go back in anymore. This might be it. What's your thoughts?
Well, it looks like they are going to go back in. They've geared up. They've got their ships in place. They've got their ammo in place. I think he'd make an announcement. Oh, because they always do this. They always lie. They'll say, "Oh, look, it's over. Oh, look, we're negotiating," and that's exactly when they hit. They always do the opposite, and that's how he's behaving. And it's kind of like my heart and head are in the different directions. I don't want a war. And so I want to say, yeah, maybe it's over, but it isn't. He still has his stupid blockade and his stupid ships out there. And they realize these bases in the Gulf are vulnerable. They get lit up. The only things that didn't get hit, and I said this before the war started, were the carriers. But they really only used one. Right? The first Gulf War, they used 6. Or the second Gulf War, excuse me, last time. They used 6 against Iraq. They just had the Lincoln. Because the Ford was out of commission like before the war started. They had the toilet problem and the laundry problem, and it wasn't there. Now they have the Lincoln, the Ford, and the Bush. And that's going to cause problems. That's round-the-clock bombings with whatever standoff munitions they have left. Still isn't going to work. But Iran's good. They would release these waves during the pauses. There's not going to be a pause if you have 3 carriers. I hate this. I want a mutiny on those ships. Those ships, they're like, oh, look, they're scared to go. I hate this analysis. They're like, they're scared to go in close because they'll get hit with hypersonic missile. I'm like, No, they're not. They can shoot further than you can. Why would they get in close when they can hit you and you can't hit them? That's just dumb. They're just being like carriers are a problem. And anybody that's just like, oh, what is that going to do? And they had all these AI videos of carriers getting hit and sunk and stuff, but none of that actually happened. Not one ship was hit at all. And they couldn't sink those if they sat still. They do not understand how powerful a fucking aircraft carrier is. I'm on the phone. And now they're sitting 3. But Iran's still going to hit the Gulf countries anyway. They think like, well, as long as we don't launch from there or fire from there, like, no. If you hit infrastructure and power plants and things in Iran, then they are going to do it back. Whether your military is there or not, they have to. It's for their existence is at stake. Sorry, I've got children yanking on me. So I went over all of this with a U.S. naval officer recently. It's on Substack, RyanDawson.org if you want to see. And Solomon, we should do a Substack show soon so I can boost yours.
Yeah, let's do it. I've already set it up, so I can send you. Let's do it. I've set my Substack up, so I'm gonna trial it tomorrow for the first time, and then if it works properly, then I'll do it with you and do like a proper one. Multi-stream, so it should be good.
Yeah, I mean, you can't rely on YouTube. They'll yank it from you at a moment's notice. You know, it's just the way they have it set it up. They can terminate you for any reason at all, right? True. So, yeah.
Well, the thing was, do you remember about 2 years ago, there was that Matt Taibbi fight with Elon Musk, and Elon Musk kind of shadow banned him. And the reason he shadow banned him is because Taibbi wanted to stay on Substack, and Musk wanted him to post on X. And it seems like Taibbi made the right decision, because Taibbi is, I'm looking at it now, he has like 500,000 subscribers on Substack, Matt Taibbi. And on the other hand, like anyone who stayed on X and stuck by Musk threw them all over anyway. Like I don't think even like Ian Chung, who's Musk's like sucked Musk off more than anyone else, is crying about all the changes on X and how he's not getting paid and all these type of things. So
getting Nikited. Well, you want to know how much money I have frozen on Stripe and PayPal that they never paid and took? Take a guess. Yeah, but take a guess how much Stripe and PayPal have taken.
What, like 20K?
No, $440,000, $500,000.
Wow.
That's what I should have been paid. That's what people tried to send to me, and they won't give it to me. I'm like, well, then give it back to the customers. They're not doing that either. So I'm fighting with them right now. I'm like, I know how to market, and I know my shit. It's like I'm not allowed to use Patreon, PayPal, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all this stuff. If I was, I'd be a multimillionaire. But I'm not allowed. And even when I make my own website and I hook up this stuff, then Stripe pulls the rug. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Substack is the only thing I can do. So, of course, I promote it, but that's 99% of my revenue now because I ain't allowed to use anything else. I wish Iran would make a payment processor. It's like, you want to destroy Zog, replace PayPal with something.
Exactly. And even create a
400. I looked it up. I added up all the things. I was like, great. This is 82K in the last 6 months. I'm like, well, where is the money then? I'm arguing with them. Dude, I'm going to do a video just on Stripe and how they fucking steal everybody's money. I'm like, well, they won't give it to me. They won't give it to them. Can you imagine? I could finance all my own films with a fraction of that money.
Yeah, I'm in the same situation. I think from when I was banned from, when I was basically demonetized just from X, not anything else, you're looking at probably, based on how much I was earning before October 7th, I would have probably got about 400,000 just up till now, just from X, because I was part of the original X creator program, so I was getting as much as like Mario and Dom Luca, the whole original crew, and then obviously being banned from everything else. So yeah, and I feel you, bro. And then obviously giving up the contract with Mario, which is millions. I feel you. It's not easy, unfortunately.
It's because of a political alignment too. Like I haven't broken any rules or anything.
I'm super
I'm
careful.
against all these fucking stupid ass white supremacists and fuck all those people. But it doesn't matter. It's clearly because of my position against Israel
Yeah.
that I'm banned on everything.
Same thing, same thing. I'm super careful to try and not hurt people's feelings. And like I don't and even then that's not good enough. Like you will get banned because you disagree with Israel. In the
Well, I've
same
been
boat.
dealing with this shit since 2005. Like they took away my MySpace, they took away my AOL, like that.
Yeah.
Like they don't want me to be able to reach people. They don't want me to be able to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically to be in this game you have to give up a lot. Like for example, the millions of dollars a contract I gave up, that was like it is what it is anyway. So it sounds like we're both crying about it, but if you're in our shoes, you'll know how it is. How
Well,
tough it is.
it's that's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to say like we need a fair playing field. If we want to stop schoolgirls from getting bombed, then like our side needs to be allowed to speak and earn a living. Because the main reason a lot of the journalists just won't go there is they're like, if I say that, they'll end my career.
Exactly.
And
On
it's true.
income, on income.
Yeah, if you someone's got children, you take their income away. I mean, it went from that to I make from Stripe right now zero all year long. They won't pay me.
It's a disgrace, bro.
It's fucked. And I'm like, okay. And other people see that and they go, oh, I don't want to get the Dawson treatment, so they're not going to speak out. I think I've found a way around it. I'm waiting for approval, and I ain't going to explain what it is because then they'll go shut this other thing down. But we'll see. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday there might be a solution here, and I want to offer it to people like you, Jeremy McKenzie, like anyone that's been blanket banned over nothing. Like this is why. All we need is one. We need like one honest company, and I think we can win this.
I agree. I agree. You don't know how many meetings I've been in behind closed doors to try and people saying they want to set up some like amazing social media, but it never goes down, bro. It's like these guys
No,
have
I
no
want to
plan.
see one already up and then join it. I was like, I want a payment processor that isn't going to ban me in 2 weeks. Like, I'm not putting in all this effort just for you to rug pull me later. Like, I'd like it just to be direct to bank, get rid of all these middlemen, just like customer straight to me. Can't do that. Nope. So I'm looking at some Chinese stuff. I'm like, that's how bad it gets. But we'll see. We'll
That
see.
might break. That
Hey,
might break, John. That might break, Ryan.
yeah, maybe. If a Chinese woman, no.
What's the so just coming back to the politics of it, like I was speaking to like Larry Johnson, Daniel Davis, like all these guys are thinking there's less of a chance that they're going to be a strike now. They feel like now it's going to just be blockade and Trump leaving.
Yeah, they're going to strangle them economically to see how that goes. And when that fails, because it will, they'll discuss the other options. There is a bit of a tug of war right now in the Pentagon with the Israelis actually prefer it how it is because they like their one-on-one with Lebanon and not being hit with ballistic missiles from Iran. Even though Iran's not being bombed, they're like, no, we're going to take southern Lebanon. So we just keep the status quo. Even though they're the ones that pushed for the war against Iran, well, that's before they knew how badly it was going to go. So this kind of stalemate now where America is not bombing Iran, Iran's not bombing the Gulf states or shooting down American planes is perfect for the Israelis because it's like now we get a one-on-one with Lebanon. The Lebanese government is, got their chair at the corner of the bed. And so it's just Hezbollah. And the Israeli army is not doing well, but their Air Force is. And they are absolutely destroying civilians in southern Lebanon. And at the beginning of the war, I said, well, they'll just fly over them and bomb Beirut and they'll bomb everything. They made the yellow line. That was like the first video we did. This is what Israel's going to do. They're going to do the Gaza thing. They're going to avoid the army as much as possible and attack civilians. That's how they are. And Hezbollah can't kill enough soldiers fast enough, or can they? I mean, that's the question mark. But, homes have been destroyed. Even with this war ends, there's nowhere for those people to move back to. They're trying to annex that territory. That's the whole point. But when Kramsha 4s and things were landing and hitting Haifa and Tel Aviv, they were screaming for timeout. They're out of interceptors. They can't do it. So one of the dumbest things America could do would be to restart the war, and then Iran can hit Israel again too. What they really want is like regime change. They want they economically strangle them, or they want America to nuke them. But they don't want to do what they were doing before, because that wasn't working at all. So it's this weird shift. But Trump just does whatever the Israelis say. However, there are people in his group that think, well, if we give in enough carriers, because we only had one, and we get this many, we use our Dark Eagles, $41 million missiles, and blah, 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 that then we can do the final knockout blow. I disagree with that would work, but that's what they think will work. And so that faction is also tugging on them. And that's also back. There's two Israeli factions, and they're like, we need to do this knockout blow, use the Dark Eagles, do this, have round the clock bombing with the carriers, bomb their electricity, take out their bridges down, then they'll come running to mommy or whatever. They will not. But this is the other plan. So he's just choosing between these two Israeli plans. One saying, hey, leave it how it is. We are destroying Lebanon. That's the goal. And strangle them economically, bomb them later. And the other one's like, we can do a knockout blow, bomb them now. But bombing's going to happen eventually.
There's people discussing, I think it's Treater Party and quite a few others. They think that, I just don't think this could happen, but anyway, they think that there is a possibility America could just leave. So you just leave, you keep the sanctions open, Iran has control of the Strait.
Well, I think Treater Parsi knows Iran like the back of his hand. Utmost respect for him. But I think he is thinking like a rational person. And he's thinking, if they were smart, they could just do this and sanction them. Like if you look before the war, there was a currency collapse. There was rebellion in the streets. Like all they had to do was nothing. If they could get back to the pre-war status where the strait was already open and uranium was on the table and they had the JCPOA, that would be the dream. They can't even get back to how it was. But I think it's a mistake to bestow rationality onto Trump and Hegseth. They don't possess that. They don't think like Trita or me or you. They're not rational. And so it'd be very easy to predict things if you were like, well, if they were smart, you would do this. I'm like, but they're not smart. That's the problem. That's why I always like, did you divide by retard? Like, I love this is a lovely equation, now multiply by retarded, because that's what you have with the Trump administration. It was absolutely stupid to start a war with only one carrier in place, where you thought if you kill the Ayatollah, everything would collapse in a hunky-dory because of some Mossad agent.